Another thing we do, we work ourselves to the bone to accumulate, and we were talking about this earlier, that we men, Muslim men, have a massive pressure to provide, right? Maybe not in the wider community, women feel like they're partly responsible for the earning, and it's 50-50 and all the rest of it. But we know as Muslim men, it's our responsibility to provide, and we feel a lot of pressure to secure our family's financial future.
Yes.
And sometimes we work ourselves to the bone to do that. But if I end up with a heart attack, or I end up with a serious, because heart attacks and strokes are similar, right? It's a clogging of the arteries, and then I become paralyzed. My father was paralyzed, by the way, and that was another major factor in me becoming so acutely aware of the health status of our community. My dad suffered a heart attack only when I was 8 years old, and then when I was like 14, he had a stroke, and then for the next 8 years of his life, he was a cabbage. We had to the point where he couldn't. Sometimes he'd soil himself, and we had to clean him, and so I witnessed all that. And he must have been in his 50s, right? When he had a stroke, right? 50s, mid 50s. Again, not an age to be a cabbage.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
50 is
now,
so young.
again, we Muslim men are fiercely independent. We're providing for our families. Now, the families that depend on us, what if something happens to you or I and we have a stroke? And look, Allah knows what's going to happen in the future, but we have to tie our camel and do our best, right? Now, if you have a stroke, what happens to all of that money? What happens to our ability to provide?
Exactly.
So again, we have to think about health is wealth.
Health is wealth, absolutely. And as I say, what's the point of being rich if you're in the graveyard 30 years before you should have been in there?
Yeah. And the other thing, I use this term, and I said, what's the point in being the richest man in the graveyard?
Yeah, exactly. You're right.